Welcome to the Soho Forum at the Subculture Theater in downtown Manhattan. I'm Gene Epstein, director of the Soho Forum. I also want to announce that what you see on your chair is the 50th anniversary edition of Reason magazine. I've read it cover to cover. It really is a delight and a collector's item. But now we want to bring you the guy in the unzipped hoodie who probably won't be sorry tonight about offending us, Dave Smith.
Thank you, Gene. Hey, what's up, everybody? Wow, that was my favorite intro that you've ever given me. I'm the most unprepared I've ever been for one of these things. I'm exhausted, as Gene said. I just had a baby. She's 5 weeks old now. Oh, thank you. She's actually a racist, so I wouldn't clap that much for her. She's not a good person, but it's a trip. It's a trip having a baby. They're very demanding, and they don't do anything. They contribute nothing to society. They don't cook or clean. They don't bring any money in. You have to do everything. You have to change them and wipe their ass. And then for all of that, they just yell at you when you do something wrong. Like, they don't even throw you a thanks, Pop. It's just like yelling and screaming. I don't know. It's a very weird dynamic. I was up till 7:30 in the morning last night. She's like a terrorist. She's such a terrorist. I'm surprised the CIA isn't sending her weapons. I just think they could really use her to overthrow a regime abroad or something. But anyway, it's a lot. I don't know. But I'm here. All right, sorry. The topic at hand, racism. Personally, I'm against it. But let's have the debate and see what happens. I don't know. I am against racism because, I'm a Jew. And, of course, I don't want anyone to hate blacks because if you hate black people, you also hate Jews. Those are the rules, all right? There's never been anybody who hated black people and didn't also hate Jews. There's never, a guy who's like, the problem is these blacks. And you're like, what do you think of the Jews? And they're like, good people. Nothing against them. We're always dragged into that shit, too. So I don't think racism is really that big of a problem today. I mean, I have it on good authority that Donald Trump is going to do tremendously great things for the black community. So, yeah, Donald Trump said that himself, so it's true. Did you hear Donald Trump said, and this is a direct quote, he said that in his re-election campaign in 2020, he is going to carry 95% of the black vote. It was actually the most modest thing Donald Trump has ever said. He acknowledged 5% might still go the other way. But do you remember back in 2016 when Donald Trump said his pitch to the black voters was, "What do you have to lose?" Do you remember that? When he was just like, "You're living in squalor. What do you have to lose? Vote Trump." That was the greatest pitch I've ever heard in my life, a politician. My white liberal friends were so outraged. They were like, that is the most racist thing ever. They have nothing to lose. And then I talked to one of my black friends, and he was like, makes a pretty good point. And I was like, you know what? This shit might work, after all. I don't know. Racism isn't good. Sometimes it works out. This is 10 years ago, and I was in Toronto with another friend of mine, a comedian, and we were traveling, doing shows in Toronto. And, I was young. I was in my 20s, and so was he. And he was like, hey, what would be fun on this trip is if we got some weed. And I was like, I agree, sir, because we spoke proper English back then. And he was like, we should try to find some weed. And then my friend Justin, he was like, I'm going to ask that big black bouncer outside the strip club if he knows where we can get weed. And I was like, whoa, dude, that's a little racist. But in Justin's defense, not only did that guy know, he was selling weed. So we ended up buying weed from that guy. Worked out well that time. I'm just saying, it wasn't cool, but it did work out pretty effectively at that point. But it was, yeah, my friend Justin just charged right up to him, and I was like, I don't think we should do this. And he was like, hey, bro. And I was like, don't call him bro. What? And he was like, you know where I can get some weed? And he was like, big black dude, bouncer. And he goes, are you guys cops? And I was like, no, we're not cops. We're comedians. We're performing down the street. And then he just I didn't say it. He goes, are you guys cops? And I was like, no, I just said we're not cops. And he goes, you guys are cops, right? And I was like, we should just leave. This isn't going to work out well. And then I said no one more time, and then he just pulled out a huge bag of weed in the middle of the street, in the middle of the Toronto street. And I was like, I guess 3 times is the charm. Now that's all. Like if we were real cops, the 3rd time would have got it, you know? Like, you cops? No. And they're like, you're cops? You're like, you got me, I'm a cop. All right, get out of here. But anyway, wherever that guy is in the world, thanks for getting me weed 10 years ago. Appreciate that. So I do, I wouldn't call myself an expert in black culture, but I got a haircut at a black barbershop once in my life. It was an accident, but it happened. And there's another story. This is the life of a comedian. I was always on the road, and I was in, I don't even remember where. I think it was Memphis or something, but I needed a haircut, and there was just a sign that said barbershop, and I didn't know what it was. It was in this mall, and I walked in, and then I realized it was a black barbershop as I got in there, but it was too late because I was already there. And there was this jacked up black dude wearing a wife beater and a huge gold chain. And I walked in, and the conversation that I interrupted. He was talking to a friend of his, and he was like, so I told that motherfucker, I'll kill you. And then he looked over and he was like, can I help you? And I was like, oh man, what did I just get myself into? And I was like, I think I'm just gonna take off. And then he just black guy bullied me into getting a haircut. He was like, sit down, motherfucker. And I was like, okay, I'll sit down, no problem. And I sat down, and he was like, so what do you want? And, I was like, I don't know, just take a little off the top. And then he said the most terrifying words that my white ears have ever heard in my life before a haircut, which is, he goes, so you want a scissor haircut? And I was like, this isn't gonna work out well. And it didn't. It did not work out well at all. He pulled out a pair of scissors that looked like they came with the barbershop when they opened the barbershop. No one's ever used these here before. And he was it was like he was just guessing. You're just I don't know, I'm gonna cut this off. And I was like, thank you. And I left. But that's all I got. That's my experience with black culture. I'm sorry. No, I'm just kidding. I grew up in Brooklyn. There's every race of culture. That's what racism never even seemed like a real thing to me. But I guess it is a real thing. Every now and then that's the thing you learn is because I'm a Jewish kid from Brooklyn, so it's not people are really it's all just a joke to me. The idea of open bigotry. But then when I started going throughout the country, you're like, oh, there's a little bit of it out there. I used to always think it was crazy. It was just something left-wing people made up. There's no racism in this country. And then it's been brought up to the surface a little bit in the last few years, the left-wing people would always call Trump supporters Nazis. So you're there's no Nazis, And then they had that Charlottesville thing, and I was like, there might be a few. There might be a couple of them out there. I don't know. They're not Nazis, they're just conservatives, And he's like, that guy's got a swastika tattoo on his neck. And you're like, okay, he's on the edge. That guy might be a little bit. But I still just laugh at it. I don't know why. I just laugh at even in the Charlottesville thing, when they were chanting, the Jews will not replace us. And I'm a Jew. That was the most empowered I've ever felt as a Jewish person in my entire life. And they're out there the Jews will not replace us. Look, I have never, in my wildest Jew fantasies, entertained the idea of replacing anybody. We simply don't have the numbers. But then you saw all these fucking angry tiki torch guys, and they're like, the Jews will not replace us. And I was like, you know what? I think we can replace these motherfuckers. I think we can do this. We just get our act together. Let's strike now, Jews.